Good morning, everybody. This is Tao of the Day. I'm your host, Martin John, and we are here to talk about the Tao. Are you familiar with the Tao? If not, listen up. The Tao is an ancient text written about 600 BCE. That's about the same time that the Old Testament was written, according to scholars. And the Tao Te Ching is a translated text and translates to the canon of reason. So the canon of reason just means like the collection of writings that help us live a reasonable life. So Tony is going to join us. Tony, how
Hey,
you doing,
Martin, how
brother?
you doing?
I am doing well.
I'm good. How you doing?
I am well. I'm very
How's your
well.
holiday?
My holiday, I think that starts tomorrow, but no, no, I think it's going well. It's going well. I've been, wait, is today Monday? Today is Monday. I thought
Yeah,
it was Sunday. So
today
my
is Monday.
holiday's going really well. It's sunny and it's a perfect day for a barbecue.
Oh yeah, I did all that yesterday. Got a little bit sunburned. Went out and did some me time out on Lake Michigan,
Oh
right
yeah.
off the pier in Michigan City. Yep, out in Michigan City,
Okay.
right
Yeah,
off
we
the
can
harbor
we
there.
can just see you over the river, over the lake.
Right, right.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So okay, I have my number.
What do you got?
It's 65.
65. 65. Okay, we're gonna go to 65. Um, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. It's a holiday. I being not having like a 9 to 5 or anything like that. I always kind of screw up my days. So it's just I was and I had a pretty interesting conversation this morning. It was just kind of like put me in a dream world. But let's see. The ancient masters didn't try to educate the people, but kindly taught them to not know. When they think they know the answer, people are difficult to guide. When they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. If you want to learn how to govern, avoid being clever or rich. The simplest pattern is the clearest. Content with an ordinary life, you can show all people the way back to their own true nature. That's 65.
Wow.
So what stood out to you? What stood
Any
out
ad
to you
lib on
today?
that? Uh, I would have to say I don't know about governing people. I know that with the project I'm involved with, you're not governing people, but a lot like what you're doing, just advice and situations that I've been through and what I've learned like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but there's a lot of truth in the opposite end of that. Of what you try to project out isn't always what's taken in.
Right.
So
It's interesting
that's kind of what I got
when
out of
we
that.
talk about governing people, when we talk about this kind of stuff, we want to be able to look at the infinitely large and the infinitely small, and people. We really want to, like, I like to think about people as being even cells in your body. If you want to learn how to govern, even govern your life or govern your body, avoid being clever or rich, whatever those words mean in that moment. You could you could be rich
Right.
monetarily, sure, but if you were in like stranded on a deserted island, you're no matter how monetarily rich you were, that you're not rich at all. Rich could just
Right.
mean like they're saying here, clever. You could be rich with like I don't know. I don't know what rich would be like on a deserted island. Rich could just be like full of.
All food
Yeah,
nearby.
yeah,
you
absolutely.
know.
Like so all of these sorts of things could be so when we talk about governing and when we talk about here it starts with the ancient masters didn't try to educate the people, but kindly taught them to not know. We go through life and we do things and we want to tell other people or to train other things or to get our body in a place where it can know what to do in a situation. And like that's great in martial arts and things, but there are times where, you know, you might have to act quickly, and punching someone in the face isn't going to be isn't going to be the best option,
Right.
right? So
Right.
it's like, although you do want muscle memory if you're doing things like being a boxer or other things like that, but is that it what they say next is, when they think that they know the answer, people are difficult to guide. And that's everything. It's not just other people, but it's when your body thinks it knows the answer, it's like if you have an emotional response to something, like you get angry, and if you've trained your body to know that yelling at somebody is the right answer to getting angry, or that hiding yourself or being quiet is the right answer to being angry, then your emotions are hard to guide. They're difficult to guide. When they think that
Well, you have the answer
that's
before you have the
right. How
question.
many of us go out of our way, like, to tell stories before, like, I actually experienced this. I had a conversation with someone yesterday. I got triggered during the conversation and kind of shut down and agreed to everything the person wanted. And then this morning, I had to wake up and give them a message and say, hey, I was triggered yesterday. I'm going to need to revisit everything that we talked about yesterday because I don't agree with any of it. And it's like, my when I was triggered, my body just responded. And I even knew that I was triggered, but I couldn't do anything about it. Now that I was able to,
Muscle
right,
memory,
absolutely. Now that I was able to go
survival.
back, now the next time I'm triggered in a conversation, hopefully, I'll be able to respond in a better way because I was able to respond from a calmer place.
Yeah, adapt to
Right. And just
uh,
learn.
move more cautiously. Right. Wow.
So then it continues with, when they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. When,
Well, essentially, that's what we have to do, right? Most of the time,
yeah,
because my way is not going to be the same way as you, right? Nobody achieves anything the same way.
that's right.
I really don't believe that. Now, like you're saying, like muscle memory
The
with
box.
martial arts, or
Yeah.
say like a real estate license or something. The things that you have to do to get this piece of paper, but they're not really mental things now, are they?
Mm,
Well, I guess they are to an extent, but they're prerequisites for a outcome.
right. And you don't want to live your life off of muscle memory because every moment is different.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe.
Well, just like you go to the same place for a hamburger, sometimes it's different. You got the different cook there who's not, and it does make a difference. Little things like that make a difference.
I got a taco joint that I go to, and when I order their liver tacos, like,
Oh,
I don't know what the difference is, but I have ordered their liver tacos 3 or 4 times, and every time I've gotten it prepared differently. Like extremely differently. Like,
really?
one time a person cooked the liver with onions, one time the person cooked the liver without and it was just cilantro and raw onion. One time I got it and it was cooked with jalapenos. One time, like, and every time I've gotten their tacos, it's like their liver tacos specifically, it's just been cooked different. I don't know if it's different cooks or the same cook or whatever, but like you said, like if I were to have ordered that with any expectation, I wouldn't be able to just, like, each cook is finding their own way, or and every time maybe it's even some of the same cook. Maybe the cook is
Right.
just finding their way to cook that today, right now. And I really appreciate that, rather than there being a consistency. I'm not one. Why what?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm triggered
Oh
by
yeah.
liver. I'm just not a
Yeah.
liver person. I had to say
No,
that,
no, no,
Martin.
no,
I'm
no.
sorry.
I have diagnosis of MS, and my diet consists. It needs to consist of organ meats, and liver is one of the easy ones. Like you can find
Right.
it. But yeah, no, it's and liver organ meats and stuff that can be triggering. Those can be triggering. but but go on.
So well, I was going to ask you, MS, which is
Multiple sclerosis.
uh, multiple sclerosis, which causes,
It's an autoimmune disease that attacks the myelin around your nervous system. So your nervous system is like a cord to a vacuum, and it's got a plastic coating on the cord. And what happens is my body eats away that plastic coating, so I lose electrical connection between my brain and the rest of my body. So I lose motor function as well as temperature sensation and other sorts of things. Yeah.
wow. And you've been diagnosed that since
2014.
2014. Wow. How
I
did you, and not to change the subject,
no.
brother, I just, because something you had said actually was a trigger. I heard somebody else talk about or use in the sentence a couple of words you used. Uh, and I was just concerned about that because I don't think anything happens. I think everything happens for a reason. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
I, I just think we as individuals or as groups or people try to put them in our order.
Right.
And essentially, we find out that's not the order, or that was the order they were supposed to be in at that time, like you say, and that could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I was just, I was interested in that because you had mentioned that. Somebody else I was talking to that I met out there on the pier yesterday was, just talking about different ailments they had, and a gentleman from Chicago who is Ukraine and was just going on and on about everything. And because he asked me, the first question he asked me when I was out there, he says, "Well, you watch the news and all that, and I'm Ukraine, and I've met a lot of Ukrainians. I meet everybody out there, but typically a lot of Ukrainians that come from Chicago, they'll come out here to fish for the steelhead."
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, when he was going through the whole thing, I told him, I said, "I'll be honest with you, Alex." I says, I haven't watched news, any kind of TV programs in about 6 years.
Yeah.
And I said, it wasn't a choice right at that day. I was just so uh, overpowered with everything and so much work that needed to be done with me. I could not to look at anything, even if what they would call it hippie TV or whatever. You stare at a TV, but you're not watching. I couldn't even do that. I
Yeah.
mean, everything just felt like a waste of time unless I was really meditating on something or learning something, a staple. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
So, and he was going on and on about the war and what they're doing. And just like you said, you had a conversation. I had to finally tell him, I said, Alex, it's not that I'm against Ukraine or Russia or anybody else. Everything you just told me means nothing to me. And when I tell you that, I don't mean that I,
I mean that
I
in the
don't feel
most
for what.
loving way.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And even when I told him to, and he
Yeah.
took it well too. And
Yeah.
but I thought it was better to be honest with him and say, look, I'm not going to let you go on and on here for 45 minutes. Number one, because not that I didn't have an interest, I had nothing better to do out there. I was there to spend the day and be. That's it. Just be outdoors. So this was
Right.
part of it. And and,
Mm-hmm.
and that being said, when he went on, I said, I got to tell you, Alex, I said, I can tell you have a lot of emotion for this and a lot of your roots. And he's my age. He's four years older than me. He's like 60, 61. And I said, I have no interest nor anything to bring to the table with that conversation. So,
And I would love to bring this back to the Tao here. If you want to learn how to govern, and that's even governing this conversation, avoid being clever or rich. You were just being honest. You weren't trying to be clever. You weren't trying to offer anything.
no,
You were just being you. The simplest pattern is the clearest. And you presented that. You just said, look, I don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck in the most loving way. And I'm here
Yeah, and
to be
it
with
wasn't
to
even to that point. Now, there's
right,
been plenty of times people have got farther with stuff that I don't give a fuck about,
right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'm mad,
But you're
but I
able
just
to,
learned for myself.
yeah.
There's no other way to be.
And here we wrap this piece up with content with ordinary life. You being content, him being content, you can show people the way back to their own true nature. He was triggered by so much in the news and in the story and in everything, and he was able, you may have been able to help him just kind of calm down and be present with you at this
Actually, he
moment.
was. Yeah.
That is what this 65 is expressing, and you just expressed it so beautifully.
Wow.
You didn't try to educate people, but kindly
Uh,
taught them to not know.
Wow. As always, Martin,
Always.
amazing. Love you,
Thank
man. Be
you. Love
blessed. I
you.
appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to bring Wendy and then Liam up. Wendy's coming up now. Love Wendy. It's been so long since we've spoken.
Good morning.
Good morning, my dear. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm so good. It's been a long time.
It has been.
My hubby's back.
I'm so glad to hear that. I know
Yeah, yeah.
that's
He
such
came in last night, and
grounding thing. How long does he stay away?
well, no, actually, we had two residents. His job took him to Dallas, and I'm in Florida, so we
Yeah.
had a home there and a home here. So we closed it up, and now we're back. He's back here. So
Oh well, I'm glad. I'm glad that he's back.
me too. Me too. He came in really late last night. I was actually asleep. I'm like, oh, there you are. So
That's not. That's
he's
so
asleep
nice.
right now. Yeah.
Oh,
So
well,
I'm hanging out in my garage.
oh, okay. And
Yeah.
and I wanna express, like it's like that means so much to me, especially right now as I'm getting myself involved in a relationship, and I just wanna
Hmm.
be like, oh, it's so nice to be able to, you know, have them home.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been together 32 years, so it's a long time, and we joke and say we're the people we hold each other's hair back when we have the flu. you know.
Yeah. That's such
Yeah.
a beautiful
We show
thing.
up for each other.
Yeah.
And I had my grandkids here this weekend, and we were in the attic, and my little guy was painting the rafters. And oh, he's such an artist. Well, he's everything, and we call it Narnia up there. And
Yeah.
yeah, we do. We had so much fun, and I had my little ones, and then my husband is abuelo to everyone because well, we're Spanish, kind of. He is. He's Cuban.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, so he's abuelo. I'm Nana, and it's like, when's abuelo coming? I'm like, abuelo is here. Yeah,
Well, that's beautiful.
it was. It's so good. So, are we picking a number today?
We are picking a number.
Okay, let's go 43 for me.
43. Four,
Mm-hmm.
two, three. Oh, the gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. That which has no substance enters where there is no space. This shows the value of non action, teaching without words, performing without actions. That's the master's way. And that's it. Very simple.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, like I've been I'm kind of angry right now, honestly, because my daughter was kind of bullied, and she's 36 years old by
Hmm.
some people in her circle, kind of, not really, and she was very upset, and I had my grandkids here, um and my daughter, my beautiful strong daughter, was kind of in the fetal position with her dog, crying
Hmm.
because she got bullied, and I'm like, okay, Nana's mad.
Yeah.
Nana's mad at these people. Don't let me meet these people. But yeah, I don't understand why people are cruel to other people. Come on, people. Walk a mile in someone else's shoes. And do you want that to happen to you? I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't think so. So that's all I got today.
Like I'm looking at this and I'm seeing, like the gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's easy.
Mm-mm. It's
You
not.
know, your strong, beautiful daughter. is in the fetal position with her
Right.
dog. She's
Or
sad.
something stupid. Stupid people who are petty.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got no time for
And
that kind of people.
right. And there is this, like, how can we be gentle in this moment? And we look at like bullies,
Yeah,
they preemptively like hurt,
yeah, they do.
you know. So the gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. Now, there's an interesting line here that I would love to kind of decipher with you is
Hmm.
that which has no substance enters where there is no space. What do you see there?
Hmm. Well, I have to kind of sit back right now and just. She called me yesterday. I had my grandkids, and she's like, "Mom, mommy, mom, um, I just need to know my kids are okay." I'm like, "They're fine. We're playing. We're having a good time." And I have her in my headset, and they're like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," but their mommy was in pain. That's my kid, and God, people. So I just sit back and I let it unravel, and I give people, and it's like I reinforced with her. I said, your dad and I are always here. Your sister, we're always here for you, and never feel alone because we're here. But I cannot force situations, and um, I can't. Sometimes unsolicited advice is a bad thing because
Hmm.
nobody wants to hear it, and so I
That's
have
right.
to be very quiet, and it's hard. It's so hard to do that. Sit
You know,
back with your kids in pain.
the substance here is a lot of expectation, right? Like, one, your daughter's hurt because of the substance around the bullying.
Mm-hmm.
You're hurt because of the substance around the loving of your daughter.
Yep.
Like, and so when we look at this, like, that which has no substance enters where there is no space. Like, there was no space for you to enter,
No, not at all.
right? But
Mm-mm.
that's because you had so much substance. You cared so much that it was impossible to enter. There was so much substance there for her and the
Mm-hmm.
bullies, so that she couldn't enter into that hurt because she carried so much substance. Then you came and you were like, I want to be able to hold space here, but I couldn't because I was so offended by her having been bullied, and I'm so angry at that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that she is hurting, and I'm taking care of the kids, and that's wonderful, right? You're able to offer this, but you can't enter. You
Nope.
can't enter into her because there's too much substance. There's
Yep.
too much attachment to the expectation, or too much attachment to what you want.
Yep.
It's kind of like, if you didn't want her, if you were okay with her feeling hurt, you might have been able to find a way in.
Yeah.
But because it's so un it's not, it's unnatural for you to not want to relieve her of her pain. But if that existed, you might have actually been able to find a way in. That which has no substance enters where there is no space.
Right. And that's so hard because honestly, if I were in front of this person right now, it would not go well.
Right.
It would not go
Absolutely.
well. My
And
goodness.
then the next line.
To,
This
to,
shows the
to actually
value.
minimize it would not go well.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that next line is, this shows the value of non-action.
Right.
Like, this shows the
Of course.
value of sit back, just do, and you did your dharma, right? Like, you took care of
Mm-hmm.
the kids and shut your mouth.
Yep.
Like,
I
that
did.
was actually the best thing that you can do, because
Mm-hmm.
that was we just gave her the space, and
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have to do any more than that. Like, you
Yeah.
did exactly what you were able to do in that time. How wonderful was that for everybody? Of
Right.
course, you still have pain.
Oh, of
Of
course.
course, she does as well.
Yes. And I have to check in with him this morning, but basically, my goodness, when you get to be my age, my kids are still my kids. They're still kids,
Hmm.
and they're grown women, and my grandkids are still kids. Everybody's kids, and when I see my kids, everyone, in pain, it breaks my heart but I have to step back and know that they've got this. And this was a hard lesson for me. And they'll handle it. And so I do that and I get quiet, but dang, it is so hard to watch
Yeah.
your children in pain. It's so hard.
And that's a lesson for you, right? That
Mm-hmm.
hardness is about you, not them, because these next lines state teaching without words,
Yep.
performing without actions. This is the master's way. You're able to give her the space to be her. You're able to give those around you the space that they need to be who they are. And yes, if that means they need to lie in the fetal position and
Yeah.
be in this space, that's where they need to be, and that's okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
okay right now, because they are learning from this, and they are
Yeah.
going to learn more about who they are and more about like what they can and cannot do, or what they want and do not want to do, and all of that sort of stuff. And so like that is where you get to excel. Now, when everybody gets up into a place of like being with the Tao and being a master, then nobody's hurt and nobody's nobody like everybody's just kind of like living in this really blissful state, and that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yes, but we are also in these bodies and in our minds and in our bodies and here in this space. And so you are able to like you weren't able to enter because there was too much substance.
Mm-hmm.
You stepped away. You did what you could. You did what you were able to do, doing your dharma as the grandma and watching the kids and being able to support her in being in pain. And
Man,
that's
that's a
beautiful. Like to
yeah.
support someone to be in pain, to allow that.
Mm-hmm.
That's strong. That's really strong.
And it's hard. It's so hard because we know that everyone has to go through. They have to learn from life, and they have to learn their lessons. I have her situation is she has a sister-in-law who gives her a lot of grief. I got a sister-in-law who gives me a lot of grief too, but I said you have to stand up for yourself, and you gotta be strong, and I'm here for you. And dang, it upsets me to see you in pain. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of one of
And
those things.
and and we look at that from those different perspectives, right? Like she
Mm-hmm.
will never escape pain forever.
No.
And so your experience of her having pain is something that you need to look at by removing her, by removing, like, why is it that it's hard for you? Like, of course, you're a mother and all of these things, great, but it is logical that you will never be able to, she will never escape pain forever.
Right. And
So,
she's like she's a mama bear. Oh my goodness. You think I'm a mama bear? Oh, she's a mama bear. So she's all about taking care of her kids and how these people influence her children, and she sets her boundaries and stuff. And when people don't support her, it crumbles. And I'm like, oh, I'm here for you always. I
yeah,
got kids. Yeah.
yeah, that
Kind of
makes,
suck.
yeah, that's such a beautiful, like, it's such a beautiful role to play,
Yeah.
and then you are also more than just that,
Mm,
for her as well. Like you being there is great, but you being is the treasure, right? For her, like
mm-hmm.
she can see and she can recognize herself in you
Yeah.
and her growth and her love for who she is. And those are the things that, that's why that's the gentle thing that overcomes the hard. You're just being present. You're just being.
Yeah.
You're being available without substance,
Mm-hmm.
without having to bring anything to the table.
Right.
Because the more you're upset at how she was treated, the more right she has to be upset, because now other people not only hurt her as a mama bear, she hurt her mama because
Well,
her pain.
right. And I can't escalate a problem. I can't engage with her too much. Of course I want to, She's telling me what
Right.
happened, but I can't engage with her to the point that it's at the forefront of her mind. We gotta let
That's
it
right.
go. Yeah, we gotta let it go
Hmm.
and de-escalate and move on. And that's
That's
what we
right.
have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you do that like it says, teaching without words, performing without actions. You just like it flows through you. You
Hmm.
did your dharma by just being able to be present for her children, and that gave her the ability to get through yesterday. Now,
Right.
today is a new day, and
Yep.
you will find a new way to show up because you are a new person, as is she.
Yep. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna time
Hope
out,
that
but
that
it's been a
supports.
while. It's been a while.
It
So thank
has
you so
been.
much.
I love
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much for
Love you
joining.
too.
How is really briefly? How's the business going with your daughter and everything? Is this the same
Her
daughter?
business, oh, it's great. Her business is
Okay.
good. And
I
that's what I said when she actually she met with these people before she had to go to this wedding situation. I can leave and come back if
yeah. Just to land it, but that'd be great. Yeah. All right, Liam, we're gonna get right to you. We just want to kind of update on Wendy and what's going on.
so here I am. So basically, she kind of because there's a toxic situation, and she
Hmm.
said, I have to go to a wedding this weekend, and I want everybody to know where I'm coming from. I mean, she's smart. She does her psychology, and she said, so let's talk." And the lady involved was mean, and so basically, when they went to this wedding, she couldn't even go.
Mm,
Yeah, she couldn't even go, and it was a lot of money and stuff behind it, and she basically got bullied out by some silly girls, in my opinion,
yeah,
because everybody's girls to me, um, and it broke my heart. But
no,
yeah, and it's like, come on. But I have to also let her sit in this and figure it out for herself because Mama will get mad.
that's right, that's right,
Mama will get mad.
and that ain't gonna help nobody.
No, no. I was telling my husband, I'm like, don't let me see these people because I will cut them down their knees right now.
That's
But,
right.
I have to hold that back and I have to let her figure it out for herself because she's strong.
Yeah,
And both my kids are, and they're confident. But she lost her confidence for a moment, but she'll get it back.
that's right, and that's temperance, right? Like
Yes.
you temper things,
Hmm.
and that's anti-fragile, right? Like you get hurt, you come back stronger.
Right.
That
Exactly.
is
Of
that
course.
is you temper yourself like you temper wood or you temper steel.
Right.
Heat it up and then cool it down. Heat it up, cool it down, and
Well,
then
it's
you
funny.
just become stronger.
Absolutely. And actually, because she's a big reader, so I bought a book. It's actually it's the workbook for a book. When I was in the airport somewhere, I came in. It was the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
familiar with the book. Yeah,
yeah. Well, she has the book. I have the workbook, and I said, "Baby, you got the workbook right now because I'm gonna send it back to you." Because yeah, don't care. What people think. It doesn't matter. People
that's
are
right.
they're on in their own stuff. So,
Everybody is.
all right.
All right, Wendy. Thank you so much for joining me.
Alrighty.
Appreciate you. Love you so much.
But
My
I
best
should-
for your day and your week.
Thank you. And it's gonna swing up because my husband's still asleep. I'm just
Yeah.
a little bit I'm a little bit tired from yesterday, but I just went to the pool, went swimming, and I do my thing in the morning and took my walk. So we're not sad. It's gonna
That's
be
good. Glad
yeah,
to.
it's gonna be a good day. Thank you. Thank
Yep.
you.
All right, we're bringing Liam on. Liam hung out with Julie. I was supposed to meet up with Julie today to be on the high street over there in Glastonbury, but we didn't make that because it's raining out there. How you doing, Liam?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
we
Oh,
got
that's, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did. Yeah, we had some great times together. It was really good meeting them. It was fantastic. We sort of congregated with a friend of mine, Ali, and we went to the pub in Glastonbury. Um, and I was sort of sitting on the seat outside with Ali, just waiting for them to come up the road, and she texted me, and then she said, "We're going to walk. No, we're standing." And then she wrote, "No, sorry, we're not. We're not. We're sitting outside. It's got Cafe Zero at the moment, right?" So I said, "Okay, we're down the road. Do you want to meet us in a little while?" So anyway, yeah, sort of
Well,
5 minutes.
that's wonderful. And yesterday was kind of a big day because I know
Ah,
Forrest is are going to the Prem, and so that was a
big
big.
hug.
That's
Yeah, yeah, it was right up, and it was great because we were watching the game at the end, and we were like in the pub, just sort of, we were just having a debate. Actually, it was quite funny. Someone came up to us about bicycles, and Julie got on the thing where she says, "I love a debate and and a good argument." So she came onto it, and this bloke was being quite sort of, he was being forward, but he wasn't being aggressive. He kind of had his heart in his hand. So he wasn't sort of, overstepping his boundaries too much. And he came up and he shook everybody's hand and introduced himself as Ashley. Anyway, as he was doing this, he had to kind of he had to step back and reflect upon what he said every time that he'd spoken about it, because
Mhm.
he was sort of saying, "Oh, but bikes were introduced into Bristol a while back, and that they had the cycle lanes, and it's much more easier to give the bicycle to bikes breadth,
Mhm.
so that cars can pass them, so that the bikes can be safe rather." So yeah, he was saying all that stuff, and Julie was saying, "Yeah, well, actually, no, that's true." But then you see them; she was agreeing with him as well. But he kind of got the idea that, well, I got the idea as well, and I was sort of talking to Brad about it, saying that it's fine that that cars think that they can go around a bike and nearly knock them over. And then that was my question, with a big question mark at the end of it. And he said, "No, no, 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 no. I don't think it's like that." He said, "I think it's And then because he was little bit sort of away with it. Um, and I'm not reaching the point, but I am trying to. What I
I have
remember from
faith.
the conversation yesterday is that Julie interjected and said, "Well, people who walk came first."
That's right.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to say to her. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's good. It's important. Like I think about that, right? We have names for pedestrians, right? There are pedestrians,
Mm,
but wait a minute, wait a minute. Like they're the like just like we put a road in and then we put a sign that like there's animal crossings. Like
yes,
it's like,
yeah,
well, like the animals they were crossing this road before the road was here, so like we always got to remember that we are in the home of everything else. We just because we wanted to put a house here doesn't mean something wasn't here first.
exactly. Yes, but that's a respectful thing as well, and an honouring thing as well about our ancient lands, as
Yeah.
well as we kind of like we descend from our ancestors in such a good way that we're coming down and we're honoring the land in that way, and a lot of us now, I think, are all really that are around that kind of way of thinking, are on the same page and on the same wavelength and on the same vibration. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think, I hear my mom complaining about rabbits in her garden, and I'm just like, well, ooh, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
there's not much you can do about that. Like, you can
there
put up a
when
fence and you can try and keep them out, but if
yeah,
they get in,
well,
they get in. They're
that's the no, we don't. Within, you keep it all within yourself. If you're introspective, if you're an introvert, you keep your emotions inside.
right. All right. Well, let's find a number. What number between 1 and 81 do you think you want to look at?
I'm gonna go with 74.
74. Off we go to 74. If you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. If you aren't afraid of dying, there's nothing you can't achieve. Trying to control the future is like trying to take the master carpenter's place. When you handle the master carpenter's tools, chances are you'll cut your hand. So this is kind of right along the path that we were talking.
Hmm.
So what
Yeah,
do you?
that's an interesting concept. I mean, I was away then, so I was kind of thinking that I wasn't being um aware um that worthiness is actually thoughtless as well, is
Yeah.
the way that I was thinking about it, but by having that sorry, just finish. Let me just see what I was thinking about a minute ago. That was like what I was saying about it. It was that we have a a word called wakefulness,
Mm-hmm.
which now we may dissolve. You know, we have it's like our thought now is immaterial, but our wakefulness may now be dissolved. That's what I'm sort of um, trying to put together. That is not using um, and also not kind of dining on somebody else's territory, because I wouldn't. It's meaningful, and also without meaning as well.
Yeah, things change.
Mm.
From moment to moment, everything changes, and I think that is at the core. Like because meaning has to change. I was talking with Wendy just a moment ago about 43, and we were talking about the let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Um, and there was like the greatest thing, the gentlest thing overcomes the hardest. There's always this
The fear
over.
always the fear flight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
and it
we
does
want to
always
be able
fly.
to, right, we want to be able to yield to all of those things. And now what, and so like as you're talking about this idea of one concept kind of, you know, di- what's the word that dissolves into another. And that's like, if you realize that all things change, there's nothing you'll try to hold on to. Not any of
Yeah,
those
no,
definitions.
that's right. No, I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and everything does know. Everything does have a beneficial thought behind it, but everything has a spirit. But
Right.
it's the spirit inside that I'm trying to get to, and it's sometimes it's what I'm saying in wakefulness is it's like it's in its wakefulness now, so it wouldn't have to change because it needs nothing but silence to dissolve. It doesn't need anything, is
Right.
what that was. And what I try to um dissolve in my own way, in my own therapy, in my own kind of group, is that we all have a word or a structure of wording from a very early age, where you could have, I don't know, you could have a 30 word vocabulary by the time you were, I don't know, two, and then you could have a 300 word vocabulary by the time you're seven, and you could that could work out, and you could then um, fly within those realms, those structures. But I think it's interesting what um, Julie was talking yesterday about the dragonfly and the mayfly. And the mayfly is the one that they also mate for life, the same as the swans do. Now, we were talking about the mayfly in such a way that we were believing in that concept by being quite an unknown, because the swan concept is well known, that they mate for life, and that they build their nest, and they have it forever. And in fact, in Wales, we've got swans at the Bishop's Palace, where they have a dinner bell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's their dinner, the swans go and ring the bell. So they know
Wow.
every time. Yeah, they ring the bell for their dinner, and they've been doing that since 1846 in the
Wow.
parish. So yeah, it's kind of it's really lovely to watch. And also we were talking. Well, what I was thinking as well is that we were sort of leaning into what she was doing for mental health and what she was doing for mind. And I sort of wanted to come away from that as well by saying to her that, she's done. They both, her and Brad, have done a massively excellent job. And it was really an honour to meet you both, and I'm so glad about it as well, because it worried me that that I wasn't going to be able to commit to it, and I was really worried about that, Martin John. I tell you,
Yeah.
at points anyway.
Like
So
commit to meeting with them.
yeah, yeah, because I had two other appointments which I had to break, but luckily my friend was able to come out. If she wasn't able, she has a mother with dementia,
Hmm.
and she was not able to come out because her mother was unwell the other day, and she had to be rushed into hospital with
Mm.
nosebleeds all night and all day long. So she was in A&E in the hospital for um, hours and hours on the chairs, and the chairs are really uncomfortable, aren't they? In hospitals,
Mm.
let's face it, they give you that pain. So as we sit, as she sat, because she has to go and um, she has so much to do in her own life. I organised for her over the phone a carer, so that she can have a carer for her mother, and so that it would enable her to come out. So she
Yeah.
could come out as well, So they've got all sorts of things like accessibility handles and all that. Her hearing aids are in the post as well, which is a great thing. So now that I can rest easy knowing that she's okay, and it was good.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's what
And
made.
that's like here, as we look at this one, it also talks about control, right? If you realize that all things change, there's nothing that you'll try to hold on to. So you won't have to hold on to that, and like we hear about your coming together with Julie and how that all kind of came together naturally. It wasn't about you like, having to make sure that you manhandle it all, but like you did what you could, and then you put it in the hands of everything else. If you aren't
Yeah,
afraid of dying, there's nothing you can't achieve. When you can just
to
step
let it
out,
go. I wasn't afraid.
right? When you're not afraid of dying, and that means dying is who you are, dying as the identity of what you're holding on to, dying as, just like even the moment, dying and changing into another one. When you're not
Then
afraid of
what?
things dying, there's nothing you can't achieve. You can just be present.
Mm, mm.
Trying to control the future is like trying to take the master carpenter's place.
Oh, tell me about it. I know that would be that would be
You
awful.
know.
I mean, that would go against everything I believe in. So no, I couldn't do that ever.
Right.
No, I'm quite in the present, and here I want to stay too.
Right.
It's a nice place.
Because when you take the master carpenter's tools, chances are you'll cut your hand. And I know we've all done that, right? We've all
Hmm.
been like, "Oh, I
Hmm.
want this thing to happen." Like
Yeah.
if like today I was supposed to meet with Julie on here and
Hmm.
have her go down to the high street, but it's raining over there.
Oh, there's
So she's not
sunshine
going to be able
now.
to do it.
You might be able to get into if you get in touch with her now. It's sunshine here, so you should
Oh,
be
okay. Well, maybe
try and do it
I'll
because she'll
reach
be
out.
around. I know she'll be
Yeah,
around
she's
today. I
yeah,
texted
she
her earlier.
is. I know she's around. So
Well, if she's going
so
down High Street, it would be fantastic to see when she's coming
yeah.
down and talk to her because that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I know that we were we were chatting, and I just sent her a message, and so we'll see if she wants to do it. Because our whole time was just the whole time we've been talking. She was like, I want to bring you, I want to be able to do this, so she's gonna try and do it. At some point. I don't know how long she's gonna be in town for,
She's
but
she's there and she's there for a few hours I think today, and then she's going to be heading off. So she's not going to
okay.
be there for too long.
Well, we shall see what she says. But I did reach out. Thank you so much for joining me, Liam. And that's the thing. That's the whole point, right? Like don't try to control the future. I wasn't here trying to control how I came together with Julie. And if we do end up doing another Tao of the Day today, all the better. We'll just do a Tao of the Day on location in Glastonbury. Thank you so much, Liam. Wendy, and Tony. All of you contributed beautifully today. I really appreciate it. I also want to thank Wendy for the tip through Venmo. If anybody else benefits from the work that I do, definitely. You're open to send me a tip at martinjohn_Garcia through Venmo. I also have links in my bio for my subscription service if you guys are interested in having a one-on-one conversation with me every month to really kind of get you in the space of recovering who you are. I talk to people for 15 minutes here, and we do bring in some insights and things. But if we had a call every month, then you'd be able to benefit from that very easily. And of course, I'm always open to clients, and I have a workshop tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central. So if you're interested in joining me for a Recover Yourself workshop, I would be excited and ecstatic to welcome you. Check the links in my profile, and we can work together that way. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you supporting Tao of the Day and my work here on Wisdom. If you're interested, if you have a number between 1 and 81, of course, I would love to have you come up. If not, I will sign out. And as I sign out every day, I love to thank you all for joining me and tell you that until next time, I hope you keep recovering yourself.